Okay, I think Siddharth has begun the live on a very
That's right.
official
He's
note.
right.
Yeah, he's given an official update that with Bangladesh's victory over the Netherlands, and I would rather call it a very comfortable victory, Sri Lanka are eliminated from the ICC Men's T20 World Cup 2024. They have really had a rough ride so far. Even their captain complained of the tour scheduling, the way they really had to go from one place to another for all their matches. It was too hectic, but at the end, Sri Lanka will not be progressing to the Super 8 stage. And what this clearly means is that South Africa are assured of a Super 8 spot, and one of the remaining three teams between Bangladesh, Netherlands, and Nepal will occupy the second spot. Bangladesh have only one game remaining. Netherlands, I think, Siddharth, if I'm not wrong, have a couple of games remaining still. And Nepal have the most number of matches remaining in this group, which is three. And if they can manage to win a couple of games here, the group is going to be, the group D is actually going to be very, very exciting. But one thing is for sure that South Africa have a queue behind their name, and they are assured of a spot in the Super 8, irrespective of what happens in their last league game, which means that so far we have India, South Africa, West Indies, and uh,
Australia.
So we
there's
still
one
have
more,
four.
and,
So we
Australia.
and
still have four.
Australia. We have four confirmed teams from the Super 8 spot.
So now, for all you Indian fans, this result is even more good news for you because two of your bogey teams who you have never defeated in the history of the T20 World Cup are now eliminated. New Zealand,
New
because they
Zealand,
have to rely on a miracle by Afghanistan against
yes.
Papua New Guinea. They have to lose to Papua New Guinea. That, for practical purposes, isn't happening. So C1 is Afghanistan. D2 could either be Netherlands or Bangladesh that you will be playing at the Vivian Richards ground in Antigua. So Afghanistan
Or
in
Nepal,
Barbados,
or Nepal.
yeah. But then see, Nepal's games are very tricky because they're taking on South Africa in their last game. Then
Yes.
Bangladesh take on Nepal. So
Bangladesh they have
those
to
two
face.
matches, yeah. So Nepal, for all practical purposes, if we look at it, they are facing the most difficult time at this point. So for all practical purposes, let us now say India versus Afghanistan on June 20th in Barbados. India
Yep.
versus mostly Bangladesh. That will happen
That'll be the
at
second match.
Vivian Richards Stadium in Antigua. Yeah. And the final
Yes.
game is
Yes.
against Australia at St. Lucia. That's your Super 8 fixture when you have to look at India. So actually, the path has become even more easier for the Indian team. Sri Lanka, they have only themselves to blame because they lost by 2 wickets to Bangladesh. Their game
Yes.
against Nepal got washed out, and they could not
Yeah.
defend 77 against South Africa. So whatever is happened, it is all Sri Lanka's own fault that they crashed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And before people start questioning as to why we don't have Nepal's name, yes, officially they are still alive. We know that. Why we're not carrying their name in the title right now? Because we're just going by what's expected for all practical purposes. You know that it's an uphill task for Nepal, given their ranking where they are as a T20 nation. You could argue that people didn't expect things from USA as well, and rightly so as well. But at the moment, how things stand, given the fact that they don't have any points right now against their name. The two front runners at the moment are Netherlands and Bangladesh, and for that reason, we have them in the title. And it looks like that D2, the D2 seeding that you were looking at, as you know by now, all teams have been seeded. It looks like Bangladesh and Nepal, both of whom weren't seeded, were unseeded teams of this particular group. The only two seeded teams of this group, one of whom have already qualified, and that's South Africa. The other seeded team of this group happens to be at the bottom right now, I think, on net run rate, and that is Sri
Sri
Lanka.
Lanka.
They were
Yes.
D2.
Yes.
They
Yes.
were the other seeded team of this particular group. And now I think officially they've actually become the first team to be eliminated as well. It was from this group that you had the first qualification, I believe, in South Africa, and the first elimination, I think, also coming from the
No,
group
it's
of death.
No. Oman have already been eliminated. So they were
Oman.
eliminated before Sri Lanka.
Namibia have
Yes.
also been eliminated.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
Namibia have been eliminated because they have gotten to three, and at -2 they have to face England. So that's why they are also eliminated in that sense. But yes, the first major big country to have been eliminated is Sri Lanka.
Yes.
2014 champions.
Hmm.
They are the first big test team who has been eliminated at this point.
Exactly. Let's say
New
yeah,
Zealand,
the first full member nation to be eliminated, first test playing nation to be eliminated this World T20 is the Sri Lankan side, the 2014 champions, who, as you would not like to recall, beat India 10 years back, have been shown the door by unlikely teams this time around. You would say, because at the start of it, when you analyze the squad, and I remember doing the squad analysis as well for Sri Lanka, we were looking at their squad and it didn't look that bad. It definitely looked like a squad that would have challenged the Bangladesh side to begin with. Let's be honest about that. Given the resources that they had, you were thinking that maybe with the experience of Matthews, Shanaka, if they both could be slotted together, yes, their batting looked the weaker of the two facets between batting and bowling, but neither stepped up. Neither stepped up. Like Siddharth said, I like what he said earlier, that Sri Lanka have themselves to be blamed. They were being caught up
Yes.
in what's happening too much. They were being caught up too much with what is happening in terms of travel and this and that. Yes, you know that, and it happens in IPL as well. There are certain teams that do get easy travel, the others don't get that much of travel. Look, RCB, Virat Kohli traveled 14,000 odd kilometers during the course of the tournament. So these things will
the
obviously
Delhi Capitals fan
happen.
and
But
Harshit
what
is talking
matters,
now.
sorry,
The Delhi Capitals fan and Harshit is talking because Vizag, then they had to go to Delhi, and they had to also
yes,
travel
absolutely.
quite a lot. Delhi
That
Capitals.
is, you didn't have your first four games of the campaign, rather, first four games of the campaign, you weren't playing at your original home
Yep.
venue. You weren't playing at that, and that makes for a difference. Though, as let's not get into that, because I'm not too sure if it would have made a big difference as far as Delhi Capitals are concerned. But it was still better. It was still better from Delhi, what I saw this time around in terms of turnout, in terms of support, and but yeah, coming back to the World Cup. India are now looking at either Netherlands or Bangladesh. Again, I'll say for all practical purposes. And Bangladesh, by the
Yes.
way, are that one team that ran India close last time around as well. Adelaide, we've
Yes.
been talking about it time and time again, that if it wasn't for that rain
2016 Bengaluru,
sorry,
2016 Bengaluru, 2016
20,
Yeah.
Bengaluru,
2016 Bangalore as well.
one
It was
run.
a heist back then. It was a proper heist in 2016, one that every Indian cricket fan will remember very, very well. The other one, then coming in 2022 as well, a mini heist. Wasn't the kind of heist that you saw in 2016, but there as well, let's be honest, Bangladesh had you on the ropes. If it wasn't for that rain interruption, that KL Rahul direct hit of Liton Das, then things could have gone either way. Bangladesh had you on the ropes. And up their sleeves, by the way, they also have a left arm pacer who knows how the Indian players play. I'm talking about Mustafizur Rahman, who's gotten better. You talk about players getting better. He went from the Delhi Capitals to the Chennai Super Kings, and guess what? From a disappointing 2023, he has the kind of a 2024 that when he was away for visa issues and all, the couple of games that he missed, his franchise dearly missed him. He was missed
Yeah.
dearly by the franchise, and he knows some of these Indian players very, very closely. So that left arm bowler woes of the Indian team will again be put to test if India are to play Bangladesh, and will again count for an interesting encounter.
See,
True.
let us
True.
make
I
no
think.
mistake about it. Okay. Bangladesh, they have got the likes of Rishad Hussain, Mustafizur, Shakib. They
Tanzim has
have
been
the
good.
bowlers. Yeah, yeah. So it is not, we are not saying it is going to be an easy walk in the park. But then imagine from New Zealand, Australia, Sri Lanka to Afghanistan, Bangladesh, and Australia. That is a kind of a climb down from India if you have to look at it. And the path is made even more easier in that sense. But yes, it won't be
See,
an easy walk in the park.
if you were at the start of the tournament as the Indian team or any Indian cricket fan, that you either go with Australia, Sri Lanka, New Zealand, or you go with Australia, Afghanistan, and Bangladesh slash
Bangladesh.
Netherlands. You would any day be okay with the second lot. Any day.
Exactly.
Two of your bogey teams are out.
Absolutely.
But
So, Sid,
Gulati wants to
closing
make a
comments
point.
from you. What do you want to say? Closing
Yeah,
comments.
I think for Bangladesh, one of the best things that's like really happening in this T20 World Cup, which hasn't really been the case with New Zealand, is that their experienced players have stepped up. You look at Mohammedullah, then Tawhid Hridoy, the youngster has played some very fiery innings. Then you look at Mustafizur, he finished with the figures of, I think, 1 for 12, if I'm not wrong, in this match. Really bowled those cutters so well. Then Shakib Al Hasan stepping up to the plate when needed, 64 or 46 balls in this match. So that's, I think, one of the best things that's happening with Bangladesh, that they're all the experienced campaigners are, performing when needed the most. Even Najmul Hussain Shanto is leading them well. The only, I think, one of the boxes that they really need to tick is the form of Litton Das, because if he comes good in their remaining group stage match, assuming that they qualify for the Super 8, I think it's going to bode very well for them. So I think Bangladesh as a complete unit, they are looking too good, and heading into the Super 8, they'll be one of the, I think, I would say, very tough to beat, because they have pretty much all bases covered. Rishad Hussain is still a very unknown commodity for most of the teams, so that's where I think he holds that X factor. Um, I think, yeah, overall, for Netherlands, they really missed the trick in the first 6 overs and in the death overs, wherein they couldn't really capitalize. Didn't lose too many wickets in the first 6 overs, just but could only manage 36 runs. Middle overs were very good, but in the death, Bangladesh were splendid to say the least. So overall, I think this group is very well balanced. Nepal still have a couple of games left, but yeah, we have discussed all the practical reasons why we aren't including them in the Super 8 race. And I think, yeah, overall it's nicely set up for the remaining teams to cash in. But going by how
Absolutely.
things have gone so far, my gut feeling is that South Africa and Bangladesh will progress to the Super 8.
So, yes, one major team has now been knocked out. Tomorrow is USA Ireland. If there is rain, then Pakistan get knocked out. And Afghanistan, Papua New Guinea is also coming up tomorrow. So if Afghanistan win, New Zealand are knocked out. It's England versus Oman that will start in the next 45 minutes. We'll come to know tomorrow morning if England stay alive or not. But today, Sri Lanka, first big team to get eliminated. Congratulations to Bangladesh. And that's why now D2 looks all the more certain to be Bangladesh, but we don't know with, as Siddharth would like to say, Nepal's chances. So that
Yeah.
brings to an end yet another day in the T20
Just
World
one,
Cup
just
from
one piece of information for
yeah.
all the fans watching or who are going to watch the recorded version of this. If either of England's one of their matches get washed out or they lose any one of them, the defending champions will stand eliminated.
Yep. So we'll be keeping a close eye on that also. So thank you so much, folks, from me, Sid Gulati and Harshit. It's good night. Subscribe to Sports Today for all the latest news and analysis. More T20 World Cup action coming your way soon. Bye bye.